Good morning. I'd like to call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Eckhoff,
Present.
Mr. Fairfield, Mr. Hess, Ms. Polk,
Present.
Ms. Weber, Ms. Parker, Mr. Seawright, Mr. Swanson,
Present.
Mr. Featherling, Mr. Dunnell, Mr. Miller, Mr. Long, Mr. Hunter, Ms. Foster, Ms. Armour Earps, Mr. Wheeler, Mr. Alexander Hildebrand. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Can I have a motion to allow Joe Swanson in via Zoom? Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mr. Dunnell. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, Joe. Public comment. I have no slips of public comment. Or is there any public comment in the back? Seeing none. Next up is the approval of minutes from November 29th, 2023. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion by Mr. Featherling, second by Ms. Earps. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is a presentation. Everybody's received this on your desk. This is just the information that Steve's office, yet again for the 8th year in a row, has received the Certificate of Achievement from the Government Finance Officers Association. So kudos to the Finance Department and all their work. The longest received, thank you. So kudos to Steve and everybody in finance. We appreciate you. Next up is the man of the hour. Steve's right there. No, he'll be able to give a speech. The man of the hour is next. So next up is the finance department with Mr. McCarty. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
And congratulations on your award again.
Yeah, thank you. Hope I got the one.
You got Nick's chair.
All right. Well, good morning. I need to clarify my statement from last meeting that I wouldn't be here. Kelly corrected me when she sent out the email that it was today. I was thinking it was next Wednesday. So I'm flying to a warmer climate today, so I was able to make it. So we'll try to keep moving here. I'm sure everybody wants to keep moving. First, we're going to do the award of the bid for our Kankakee County telephone system. Kevin and I have been working on this along with Jason. There's a lot of things. We could bore you with all the stuff that we've been working on, but the savings, substantial savings that we've uncovered, and we'll pay for this. But I'll let Kevin go through the bid process, and we'll get that information public, and then we'll finish up any questions and stuff.
Okay, the project, as you know, has been 1.5 years in the making, and we're basically down to the simple part of it. So I'll keep it brief. If you remember in one of the past finance meetings, you guys created a subcommittee to review all the information that came in through the RFP. I want to say the members that were in that, representing you as a board was Matt Alexander Hildebrand, Anita Speckman represented the administrative office, Steve McCarty represented the finance department, and myself represented the technology department. All of these departments and the board was responsible for sections of this RFP.
Can you pull the microphone down? Yeah, it's on, but there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Sorry about
Perfect.
that. Okay, well, basically the subcommittee met to review the summary of the RFP presentations, which you should see in your packets there. And I'm here to simply present the subcommittee's recommendation to this committee. First of all, you should understand that all of the RFP presentations, once we reviewed them, were considered responsible and professional presentations. And with all the presentations being considered responsible, that made the final choice come down to be a financial decision. So with that being said, the subcommittee recommends that the county phone RFP be awarded to Rooter Technologies, which is a local business that you're all aware of. And lastly, you are approving the vendor for to provide their services and equipment. You're not approving a direct amount. There's not a new amount to the budget. We're charging to an existing line. And talking to the finance department, there's the belief that there's possibly and probably going to be a reduction to that phone line. So it's not an additional charge. by the time all of this implement, the charge should go down, actually, which is kind of part of the point of the whole situation. The one thing I can say for any departments that are going forward, and this does not apply to 911 or the sheriff's department, all phone questions about phone need to first, we're going back to centralized service section. So anything that you have any questions about the phone, you need to send those questions to the finance department. One of the things that we want to do is stay on top of the charges. And since that department already had to pay the bills, we want to make sure that stays controlled. So we're going back to the original process of a centralized service that's charged to. Steve may want to elaborate more on that. It's up to you.
No, that covers it. Kevin, if I could add, the recommendation was for on-premise, for the two columns of on-premise versus hosted. So the router technology for on-premise, as far as the bid. So I just wanted to make sure we're talking about the on-premise one.
Yeah, which is what we have now. The only reason we looked at on-premise and hosted, we want to make sure we clean slate. We looked at everything. So we didn't come with any preconceived notion. We want to see what's the cost of the whole thing. So we saw all possibilities for the people, and this was, if you see on there, it wasn't really that close. So.
Mr. Alexander.
I just want everyone to know that the cost savings of this basically pays for the entire thing, and going with a local vendor, Router Electric, I think that's just fantastic. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Hunter?
Thank you very much. Kevin, as you and committee members, as you take a look at the bids, you see the wide range. I know you've done an excellent job with the membership on the committee. Do you have any insight as to why such a wide range of bids?
This is quite common. Quite honestly, some of these bids probably they're not bids. I want to be careful when we say that, because you're not buying a project, you're a service, and then you pick the parts that you need out of it. Because that we opened it up to everything, the hosted, that brought in companies that normally wouldn't have come. So, and some of them are designed, some of their presentations would have been more applicable, say in Will County or a large county. You wouldn't want to implement on something. We're a decent sized organization, but you know, we're not Will County. Well, you got some of those presentations, and so you'll see a wide swing on it. So that's more. As you'll see, really the top two in both categories are local vendors because their cost would be less. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you kind of would guess who were the lowest.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I can entertain a motion to award the winning bid. Motion by Mr. Alexander, second by Mr. Fairfield. Roll call.
Mr. Eckhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield? Mr. Hess? Ms. Polk?
Aye.
Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Swanson?
Aye.
Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dunnell? Mr. Miller? Mr. Long? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Foster? Ms. Armour Earps? Mr. Alexander? Motion carries.
Motion carries. I want to thank that committee for your time. I know that it was a big process and you had a lot of bids. We saw that opening here, and I want to thank you, Kevin, for leading the charge on that.
Thank you, and the committee was very helpful because we got some fresh eyes to look at it and come from a different perspective. So that's very helpful. Matt made some suggestions in the meeting that actually really had some really helped us out.
Good. Thank you. Next up, Mr. McCarty with the miscellaneous and financial reports.
If I could expand on one topic before we head into the regular stuff. That Kevin and Jason, they over the last year and a half have changed our infrastructure to be able to do this project. The switches and things that I don't understand, and you know, and they've described it as their cell phones will be plugged into our computer, you know, going through the computer network now, you know, is what the simplified version of what we're doing here. And their knowledge is second to none, in getting all this set up and added to the savings, you know, for what turned out to be. So whenever Kevin decides that he's heading off into retirement sunset, we are in good hands with Jason as well, you know, whenever that happens. So I appreciate both of them and their knowledge and their help. I been nagging them, if you will, for the last year and a half, like when we started working together, and they've uncovered stuff and we've found stuff, and the savings that we have uncovered will pay for this, as Mr. Alexander Hildebrand mentioned. So it's a win-win, and a lot of it has to do with our IT department. It's they're second to none, so I appreciate them and what they've done. So. All right, so we'll move on to miscellaneous financial reports. Some of these are now, you're seeing year-end numbers. So we'll have 2 more months of numbers for the sales tax as far as fiscal year. But as you can see, that still is doing well, and advancing, you know, another 7 to 8%, similar to last year. The
Bed rental was very healthy.
bed rental, congratulations, yeah, to the sheriff and his
Yep.
staff. You know, nearly $2.6 million increase. This is for the bed rental only. There's overtime and reimbursement, other things that happen, you know, with that, but this is a snapshot of just bed rental, which is a 30% increase from the prior fiscal year. Use tax, there's still a couple more months. Income tax had a 2% decrease, you know, from a year ago in total. And PPRT, we were expecting a decrease. Turned out to be an 18% decrease, or $633,000 decrease.
And that's
overall.
because the state was catching up on PPRT that they weren't
were
sending.
catching up on COVID
Okay.
related and caught it up, so it threw the averages and everything out of whack. So it'll reset itself. So any specific questions on those before we move on?
No questions. Cash flow update.
All right, nothing but good news in the cash flow side. A nice Christmas present and maybe a new year identity going into the fiscal year 24 is looking back at the snapshot of November of 22. This ending number of just over 20 million of cash is $3.2 million higher than we were a year ago. So so great news, and everything moving forward. So, and I will have FY24 for you. Open that door up for next month. So.
Perfect. Any comments on that? All right, next up, claims recommended and not recommended for approval. Mr. Donald.
One, I move that we combine and approve,
Yep.
please. Second, there are some medical claims in here. We need to make sure that the personal information is
Redacted,
deleted
yeah.
before it gets to us moving forward.
Agreed.
Redacted, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Thank you. So motion to approve, second. Mr. Fairfield. Now go ahead and go over a highlight of the claims.
Do you want me to read them in?
Yeah.
Okay. First one for CAPS Tees. This was animal control claim. Second one, Riverside Medical Center, inmate medical care. Third one, Chris, if I pronounce it right, Beauchart, employee reimbursement. And the state's attorney, Jim Rowe, he sent a response by email as far as explaining that. The other Community Cup Church also, state's attorney, reimbursement grant related. And then final one, the coroner's Visa credit card charge claim.
And just so the committee knows, I had a conversation with State's Attorney Rowe. No communication was brought between the auditor's office and the State's Attorney's office per those two claims. It was only conversation was between the finance department, just giving them a heads up about the claim. Anybody else? Any comments or questions? Mr. Cavanagh.
Yep. Good morning. I just want to comment on the claim to the coroner's office. Same thing as what Colton had just said. We were not notified until the finance department, Mr. McCarty, had emailed us about our claim for $36.93. This was a meeting between the coroner, myself, and the grant writer from Riverside Healthcare, who has not only written grants for the coroner's office and the health department, but probation department. And we feel as though it is in the best interest of the county that when we meet with this gentleman quarterly, we take that bill and pay for it, obviously. The kicker out of all this is that that bill actually came from a special fund, not even a general fund line item. And in addition to that, the meeting that we had with him discussed the grant that we share with the health department. And since July of 2017, when that grant went into place, it has brought in $1.75 million to the county, whether it be the health department or our office. Our office specifically, $49,369 in salaries, $4,832 in mileage, and $31,609 in supplies in the last 6 years. So a total of $85,810. But we're here talking about $36.93. So, thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the committee? If not, roll call.
Mr. Eckhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield? Mr. Hess? Ms. Polk?
Aye.
Ms. Weber?
Aye.
Ms. Parker? Mr. Swanson?
Aye.
Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dunnell? Mr. Miller? Mr. Long? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Foster? Ms. Armour Erps? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Motion carries.
Motion carries. Next up is monthly claims. Can I have a motion by Miss Polk? Second by to approve. Second by Mr. Dunnell. Any discussion? Any highlights, Steve?
No highlights, if there's any questions or no.
Questions? Roll call.
Mr. Eckhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield? Mr. Hess? Ms. Polk?
Aye.
Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Swanson?
Aye.
Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dunnell? Mr. Miller? Mr. Long? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Foster? Ms. Armour Erps? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Motion carries.
Motion carries. Safe travel, Steve, and enjoy the warm climate.
Thank you. Yeah, I would want to also thank all the departments. Yeah, when we get talking about the award and the it's great, but it's also we rely heavily on information that comes from other departments, and we appreciate their cooperation and communication that we bug them for once a year for this. And I need to say that because we're heading into that season of starting to bug them again for that information. So we look forward to. So I want to share that because it is a team thing, and it shows information, you know, across the entire county business and what we do there. So I just want to thank them, and we appreciate their continued support. So appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up is the Treasurer's Office. Treasurer Africano, can I have a motion to combine and approve the reports? Motion by Mr. Hunter, second by Mr. Featherling. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Which one's my chair? This one?
Well, yeah, you want me to lower it for you?
No, I need it up. There we go. Yeah. I know.
Motions are approved. Any comments? No?
Motion to approve.
No, everything was approved. So
Okay. No, I don't have anything other than people can start paying their taxes early in the partial payment program choices. We've had a lot of interest. We're going to try to get out there in the first quarter to some churches and social service organizations and Amanda brought up title companies and realtors, which is a great idea. And we're going to do that, go out and meet with them and give people an alternative. And it seems that a fair amount of people are interested in that. Steve enjoyed Carbondale. It's supposed to be a high of 58 down there. That'd be nice. And Merry Christmas to everybody, and especially to the public we serve.
Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Treasurer Africano,
Yes, sir.
could you, off the top of your head, just give us some highlights of this calendar year achievements and things that you feel are really positive in your department? And as I've indicated, anytime I call there or frequent your office in person, I'm always accommodated. Sam Payton the other day said the same thing when he comes there, but not blowing smoke or anything, but what are some of the highlights that you would like to provide to us as legislators?
Well, I'm biased, but I think we have the best staff in the county. I have an incredible group of people, and that I'm forever grateful for. I'll tell you who doesn't get enough credit is the banks. Without the local banks, we would have to hire at least 3 more full-time people. And I've been very vocal about my distaste for PNC because they don't collect tax. And so I've encouraged everybody to pull money from there and put it where people do help the county. But I will tell you just anecdotally, Midland this year collected roughly $24 million themselves, which is an amazing amount of money in terms of the levy was, say, 205, somewhere in there, 210. So that ought to tell you where that is. But it goes all the way down to Elite Maternity Credit Union, Maternity BVM. They collect tax. So there are a lot of people that have helped the county in that way. And it's an incredible service for our people. And I think the education is you don't have to have a bank account at that bank. And that's sometimes what I think people miss. So you can go to a drive-in, you can go to First Trust Drive-In if you don't have a account there and still pay your taxes, not get out of your car. And that's just a fabulous gift to the taxpayers of our county. And so they don't get recognition, and of course, municipal is huge, People's Bank's huge, First Trust, State Bank of Herscher, a lot of banks collect a lot of money, and it's really, really helpful to us and to us as a county for the amount of money they save.
And what would you like to see, and what do you need to further enhance the services of your office?
You know what? I don't think I need anything other than
quoted on that now, Nick.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He set you up.
Thanks, Steve. And Steve doesn't get enough credit sometimes. Since I've been here, Steve and I have worked flawlessly together. I think he may have a different opinion, but it's awesome to see that Steve's not, calling and saying, "Holy Moses, when are we going to get an early distribution?" Right? We're past. It seems like we're past that. Thank God. And credit to Andy and the board, everybody. But Steve and I have worked hand in glove since I've been here, and it's just been phenomenal. And Anita has been incredible with our department, and I just feel really, really fortunate for the staff I have and the support I have up here. I don't want to forget anything, but the banks is a really important thing, and I guess I would just say to the board members that I see the front line people paying taxes, and it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money for a lot of people, and I think we have to always keep that in the back of our heads, that it's a ton of money. And I see people come in with their coin purse, right, and open it up for that last little bit, and it's not easy for people to pay some of these taxes. So I think that's important to remember, especially around Christmas time. So happy holidays. Oh,
Ms. Earps.
On this new program, are you allowed to pay with credit card and a checking account?
you are. You can pay online. You can come in. You can mail it. The banks, you can only pay full first or full second.
Right.
You can't pay late. But the important thing about the Choices program is you can come in Tuesday, Thursday, Friday because you had money. You can wait 3 more weeks and come in again. You can pay $1. You can pay $5. It's totally your option, and it's all predicated on last year's balance. And unfortunately, what I just said, taxes typically don't go down, but if they did, you would get a refund. So we say pay what, just pretend you're paying what you paid last year, and we'll go from there. And if there's a balance, we'll let you know what that balance is. But I think, when I grew up, my father was like, you save your money and you pay the taxes. But my generation, I think, is a lot of monthly payments. Yeah. And I think that helps people manage their finances. We also have a billboard out on 57, if anybody has seen it, that encourages people to prepay their taxes to simplify their budget.
I also just want to say thank you that you have no idea. We've been talking about it in the real estate world, and so many people are looking forward to this because they need it. So I appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you.
Mr. Carrico.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Nick, I have a question. What you said about the program to pay a little bit every so often is amazing. Do you guys accept like an auto draft, like a monthly?
We do. Yep.
So they can set it up like specific
Absolutely.
amount and every month.
Absolutely.
That's a great thing.
Online, you can do that. And we just wanted it, and that's why we called it Choices. We wanted you to be able to pay however it works for you. But an auto draft is absolutely.
So that that holds back a little bit. A person have to go, come here, whatever, mailing a check.
Yeah, that $6,000 or $8,000 or $4,000 tax bill looks a little less when you're chunking it up. Yes, and you can auto draft.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Anybody else first time?
Last time.
Second time?
Nick, you ever thought about attending the high schools that they're always liked in high school? I don't know if they still do it. What they call them assemblies, where you didn't have to go to class and they have different topics.
Yeah, I liked those when I was in high school.
Yeah. But I know that Roe and let's see, who else?
You talking about like government, like where we explain what we do?
Yeah.
I've done it once at Kankakee High.
And that's probably something, financial literacy in terms of kids. They need to, that's good stuff. And
we don't teach it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that may be something you want to talk to Frank and maybe the local superintendents about doing that, because interface, and you're a public official, and hopefully what you say is gospel to them. That's something to think about.
Well, it is, not to make light of that, but I took consumer behavior in junior year in high school. I learned that you're not supposed to write a check with a pencil.
Oh,
so I've never forgotten that.
Yeah.
I see Tinker laughing. Lastly, if no one else has any questions, I want to, for myself and my department, I want to say a hearty thank you to the board, and especially to Chairman Wheeler for all his hard work, knowing that he's going to finish out his term and not be a part of this place any longer. And I don't think it can be overstated what has happened. And Steve probably would be one of the best people to talk about that. But I remember coming in here and everybody's hair was on fire because of our finances. And I don't think that we're less vigilant today with our finances. But boy, does it make life easier when you know you can pay your bills in 30 days instead of, hey, I need to pay these are 120 days out. And I remember those days. I'm sure Steve sleeps a little bit better at night. His hair has gone a little darker. I don't know how that happened, but and just Andy deserves an amazing amount of credit, and so does his board for seeing his vision. And I just want to, before I forget to say that. So Merry Christmas to everybody in our county and Happy New Year. I hope 24 is a good one. Thank you.
All right.
Merry Christmas to you.
Next up's the auditor's office. Nobody. Other business is animal control building project update, and I believe Mr. Andrews is going to go ahead and take this.
Less is the best.
Is that a slogan there? Good morning, sir.
Morning. Yeah, so Andy had asked me to come to the committee and provide just an update from a financial perspective as to where we stand on the animal control project. So I'll be brief, but kind of bring you up to speed. So as of right now, I've processed 3 pay requests for the project, which is amounted for roughly 25% of the total. The 4th is on my desk right now. Actually, it's right here, which I'll be getting to Steve, which he's probably excited to get, which will get us to roughly 37% of the total on the project. So obviously a lot more to come in on from a billing standpoint on the project, but that should give you an idea as to where we're at currently. There is $400,000 in contingency on the project, and this is a big number. And we have $382,775 remaining, which accounts for basically 96% we still have remaining in contingency. So at this point in the project, obviously when you start a project and you start tearing into walls, you start excavation, etc., you know, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to come up that that were not accounted for. So to be at this point of the project where we're under roof, they're working inside and still have 96% of the contingency remaining, I feel like that's an excellent position to be in. So I'm happy to report that. Obviously, you know, things may still come up. At my committee, we discussed an ad on the fire suppression system. So if you're on my committee, you remember discussing that. That came out of contingency. That was one of the items. We have a bi-weekly call on the project with our construction manager, White, and we discussed at this last call an ad that's going to be coming for replacement related to storm sewer. There's some redesign of the storm sewer on the site. I mean, I don't expect it to be substantial, but that is an ad that will be coming for the design of the storm sewer, and they had to make some changes on that. So overall, the project is in an excellent spot. I had never worked with White before. I'm here to say they've done an excellent job. The communication every 2 weeks on our call has been excellent. And then just like I said, with the financial snapshot that I gave you, I feel they are doing an excellent job on the project. So it's going to be a beautiful building. Carrie and her staff are going to feel they've died and gone to heaven when they go in there. It's going to be an absolute outstanding facility. So,
Mr. McCarty?
Steve's got something.
Just adding on a little bit behind the scenes, the board might remember that there was multiple funding streams all to go into this project. We're currently paying the current bills with the bond funds, the bond proceeds. Once that's done, then it goes to ARPA. So just a little FYI, might be interested, may not care, but that's how we're doing when the bills are flowing through. So.
Thank you, Steve. Questions from the committee? Mr. Featherling.
Does White come out and help you with your draws when you do your draws? Do they walk through the place and set you up or tell you what's done, what's not done, or do you do that then?
I do that. I mean, we discuss it every 2 weeks. Okay. I stop out at the site every week and talk with the construction manager that's on site there. So I discuss with him, take a look at things, see where things are at. But overall, like I said, they've been excellent to work with.
They seem like they were going to be good.
They've done a good job.
Thank you.
It's a small project.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Featherling. Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much. Again, I always, when I pose questions, it's like a teaching exercise here. And every time I go past that work site, I see them going gangbusters there. And I would think that the weather has played a contributing factor in expediting all the work and so forth. And you're saying doing stuff inside, didn't have to trudge through a foot of snow or any mud and muck and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
There's enough generated anyway, you know, with the precipitation. But we, you know, I would think that the weather has really helped out a lot.
Yeah, we got lucky.
What's the tentative timeline on this?
Springtime.
Okay. 3 months.
Spring.
Any other comments or questions for Wes? Seeing none.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Next up is new business. Any new business? Any old business? Mr. Featherling.
Mr. Chairman, due to all the changes that have come up on this thing we talked about when we had to vote on the in finance about the tax incentives for the Project Unity, I guess it was called. I was wondering if there was any possibility we could bring that up again at next finance committee meeting and go over some of the numbers that have come up and changed since we had the vote. I don't know if who sets the agendas or how that works.
Are you writing this down, Kelly? Okay, all right, so you want it on the agenda for next finance?
Yes. Yes.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Hunter?
Yeah, just, what, John, what are you talking about? What,
There's been considerable changes in the numbers that have come up recently from what they were presented.
what, in terms of what? What?
Well,
What project program, what?
Project Unity.
The Mantino thing you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh.
Is there anything from the state's attorney's office that can I go ahead and be placed on the agenda for discussion, I guess, next month at finance?
Is that a motion he's making or what?
I think he's are you asking for it to go ahead and be on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so that'd be up to Andy.
Aren't you the chairman, no?
Chairman of the board or chairman of the committee, John? Okay, so it'd be up to me. Okay. I'll go ahead and get back to you and I'll let you know by next
Because
month.
it'll
Okay?
always be up to the chair of the committees.
Okay.
Who sets the agendas.
All right.
Thank you.
Any new or old business? Right, do you have a motion to adjourn, Mr. Hess? All right, I'm going to table that for a second. I'd like to go ahead and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, all of our employees, all of our department heads, elected officials, and appointed officials, and a special thank you to all of everybody that comes to these meetings every month, and everybody in the back. With that, motion to adjourn by Mr. Hess, second by Ms. Foster. All in favor say aye. Opposed?
Aye.